am a mapping analyst. What I do is make maps. So specifically, I focus on the economic development area of map making. What does that mean, and why does that matter to you? I think you're thinking to yourself on that. So I'm here today to talk to you about those things. Why does mapping matter to you? And why is it meaningful? Let me first show you a few examples of my mapping projects. The darker area are the states that we think Arkansas shares regional resources with and also competes against for economic development opportunities. Within the area that we just defined, every plus sign means a $1 million or over investment new companies outside of the state of Arkansas. Over time, when we put this kind of data together, we're able to see the pattern. So on this map, we can tell the orange spots, which we call hot spots, are in favor of with new $1 million or more companies. So what we can tell from this map is if these substantial size companies are actively choosing other states, they are actively not choosing Arkansas. So it is very important for us to track how our competitors are doing, right? Okay, so showing maps is not our ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to come up with a solution to promote the well-being of the economy in the state of Arkansas. So here's another example. This is a map of foreign investments in the state of Arkansas. We can see each dot is represented by a country flag, so that tells us where their original parent company is from, and also they represent the exact location of these companies within the state. So we can tell these companies are not evenly distributed throughout the state, and the clusters appear to be along the interstate highways, which are the thick dark lines on this map, and also in central Arkansas and northwest Arkansas areas. Now it's time for us to come up with a solution. We give extra financial incentives for new companies to locate in the counties that do not have many companies so far. So in this way, we elevate the competitiveness of all counties throughout the state of Arkansas. The data collection involves the hard work of hundreds of people from local communities to state agencies. I receive raw data from them, and I use computer software to analyze them and express graphically on the maps. Doing what I do is really fun, but I find I keep asking myself, what do all these maps really mean to me personally? Why does mapping this kind of numbers, statistics, boundaries, and lines, symbols, and pictures on the maps matter to my life? Just like you just asked me, why does what I do, which is mapping, matter to you personally? How do they relate to our real lives, our happiness, sadness, joys, and sorrows? So I am one of those weird people that try to look for a meaning in everything. So maybe if you allow me to take these questions a step further, maybe it's not purely about what does mapping mean? Why is mapping meaningful? It's about what we see on the maps. You got it. The places where people live and work. So instead of asking why does mapping mean or why does a map is meaningful to you, it is about a place. Why does place is meaningful to you? I am on a quest searching for the meaning of place. I'm interested in finding out what makes a place great and what kind of place moves people. The way I am fulfilling my quest for the meaning of place is through drawing. I draw every day, and today is my 101 day of daily sketches. I have a 3.5 by 5.5 sketchbook that I carry around in my purse all the time. I am very proud of it, and I'm on my third book, so here are some examples of my daily sketches. I draw pictures that I found online Or I visit sites and draw them in person by taking in the emotion and connection I feel about the place. And then I post them on social network. It fascinates me how people react to different kinds of places that I draw. I'm always excited to see their likes, comments, and shares. I listen closely to their stories when they tell me about their drawing requests and commissions. All their inputs and comments give me a hint about what kind of place make them excited and what kind of place really matter to them. So here are 4 things that I came up with inspired by my audience. The first is a personal connection. Opa's story. Here's Opa. Opa means grandfather in Dutch. Opa is 89 years old. As everybody can tell, he's not my grandfather. He's the grandfather of my husband, who I basically adopted as my own. Opa went back to the Netherlands in the summer of 2016, and he had a great time visiting family and friends from his childhood. And this picture was taken when Opa was standing in a church where he got married in 1950. The smile on Opa's face tells me that he's just so glad to be back at his church, 66 years after he got married there. Here's a picture of Opa with his beautiful bride, Oma, who passed away 5 years ago, and they were happily married for 61 years. That's a beautiful love story, right? But my next story about my husband and I is not as nearly as profound. I'm going to tell you a story about our gas station, and I guarantee you it's not about their gasoline. So here it is. 6 months ago, my husband and I just got a new house together. It looks great on the picture, right? But I wasn't so sure about it the day after we closed on the house. I got cold feet. And I wasn't familiar with the responsibility of living in and being committed to a house, because it will be my very first house that I have ever lived in my whole life. Because in China, if you are not super rich or lived in the countryside, everybody lives in condos. And plus, I wasn't sure it was a good purchase to begin with. One morning before we moved in, my husband suggested that he wanted to take me on a breakfast date. And here is where he took me to. A gas station in the middle of nowhere. To be honest, I was a little disappointed. He didn't even take me to a Waffle House. He took me to a gas station diner. But after I had eaten a few pieces of bacon and fried potatoes, I was sure that we had found one of the best breakfast places in the area. So when we got back in the car, I complimented my husband on his choice of the date. So I said, well, that's a great place. It's a surprise. He responded with a bragging tone and a smile on his face. He said, do you know what's the best part? It's only a mile from our new house. So ever since then, we have been having breakfast there at least every other weekend, and that gas station has become our gas station. Yes, I am talking about that place that you call yours. It could be a restaurant, a club, a bookstore, a gift shop, a hiking trail, or even just a bench by the trail. It is because of that personal bond you have formed with that place. You make a trip to it. You make a point to stop by it. You tell people about it, and you want to share it. And that place has become so special in your life. Now, let's take a moment, and I want you to think about a place that means deeply to you. It doesn't matter if it's as fancy as Opa's church or as simple as our gas station. I want you to think of a place, and we'll get back to it later. An iconic place brings people together. As a place, we all know it can either divide us or unite us. And an iconic place is definitely the latter. Many cities, states, and countries have their iconic places. And these are the places that people choose as the image of their community. From the Statue of Liberty of the US, the Great Wall of China, the Christ the Redeemer of Brazil, These places have become the icons of those countries. Locally, it is the Clinton Library of Little Rock, the Arlington Hotel of Hot Springs, and Westgate Fountain of Hot Springs Village. And these are highly recognizable places for a particular community, and they give people a sense of identity. Fall is here. For most Arkansans, that means football season. And the state's biggest university, University of Arkansas, is once again becoming not only the symbol of the pursuit of higher education. Razorback football is ready for all of us to call the Hogs. A friendship with the place. Here is how I see it. When you're friends with someone, you check on them, you're curious about them, you want to learn about them, and you want to build a mutual relationship with them. Ever since I started to apply the concept of a friend to a place, it has changed my whole perspective of how I see the world. As a friend, we can have fun together. We can grow old together. And a friend is also someone witnesses our fallen and stumbles and then get up, get on to grow again, just like the Central High School of Little Rock. It has witnessed this city's persistent battle for social equality for over half a century. Like many of us have long-term friends, a place can also be like a friend that's always there, sometimes for generations. This is a kind of a housing in South China. This kind of circular homes started about 400 years ago. There was a group of Chinese people moving from northern China to the south because of the war and shortage of food at the time in their homeland. So they moved down to the south, but unfortunately, they were met with hostilities and treated like unwelcome outsiders. So in order to get self-protection and also to unite the strength within the family, they built this kind of inward-facing houses for families to live in together. As time passed, these people not only stopped being outsiders, they also achieved success in their lives through their hard work and helping each other out within the family. And we can say this kind of housing, much more meaningful, much more than just a piece of lifeless property. It's been a loyal family friend that has helped them to overcome their many adversities in life and led them to success. Speaking of growth and success, I think it is human instinct to want to pursue those things simply because we are living beings ourselves. We desire growth as we go through different phases of our lives. The summer of 2016 belongs to Rio Olympics. 8 years ago, the whole world was celebrating with Beijing Olympics. One world, one dream. At that year, I was in Beijing, but I wasn't there just to see the games, though. I spent 1 year in Beijing by myself. During the day, I was working as an architect intern, and these were my colleagues at the time. At night, I was working hard to realize my own version of one world, one dream. I was staying in a basement rental. I was studying hard to pass English tests and write applications to graduate schools in the US and also make phone calls. And at night was the only time I had because of work and time difference between China and the US. And that basement rental was all I could afford. There was no AC, but it wasn't needed. It was because it was underground. There was only one shower head in the only one shower room for all men and women, and hot water tends to run out in the middle of my shower. But it taught me to do things fast and budget my time. Compared to my big new house today, that living condition was humble and somewhat harsh, as you may think. But I was excited and thrilled every day because I was in Beijing and I was on my way to the United States. Every one of us have a different definition of growth And also for different periods of our lives, we all differ in what we see in a place that will accommodate that phase of our lives. 8 years ago, I saw Beijing give me the best opportunity to grow, and today I have a different reason that I choose why I live today. What about for you? What is it a place can tell to help you grow professionally and as a person? So I come to this phase of my quest, searching for the meaning of place. I'm very thankful that through this journey, my mapping project seems making so much more sense now. All the numbers, statistics, symbols, colors, and lines, all those abstract things, they are very well about the real life for each one of us. Every bit of information on the map is telling a story of something is happening to someone, somewhere. When I drive on the interstate highways today, I know on my map it may just be a thick, dark line, but it is someone trying to get from one part of the town to another, just like myself. When I see someone is trying to get engaged with the downtown atmosphere, I know that place is much more meaningful than just a dot on my map. I'm going to continue my journey, and I want to invite you to come along. So just think about the place that I asked you to come up with. Why was it so special? Is it because you have a personal connection with it? Is it because it's an iconic place in your town? Is it because you have a friendship with it? Or did it let you to see the hope for growth? Or is it all of the above? I encourage you to reflect on what you see in a place that will make you excited, want to get engaged, and make you tick. For those of you who are in the leadership, I encourage you to not only think of a special place for yourself personally, I want you to help your fellow residents to find that same kind of engagement and attachment with the place. I challenge you to look beyond the numbers and reports and even my maps on your report. I want you to truly think about how the policies, rules, and regulations that you place in a community can help to unlock the potential of the place and help people come, build a relationship with one another, and get truly engaged with the place, and let them see the hope for growth that they want to stay here, work hard, and call it home. Thank you very much.